Huh? What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Overboy and I'm going to be doing my review for the 1992 movie Batman Returns. This is a sequel to Tim Burton's 1989 Batman, and he once again directed this one. And in this movie, Batman is having to face the Penguin, who is planning to kill all of Gotham City's firstborn sons, while also running for mayor of Gotham City. And he teams up with Max Schreck, a businessman who is planning to help him take control of Gotham City, while Catwoman emerges and is seeking vengeance against Max Schreck. And she kind of becomes an anti-hero that's somewhat a villain to Batman, but also kind of a love interest to him as well. But this is one of my favorite Batman movies, if not my favorite Batman movie. I just absolutely love this movie. It's been one of my favorites ever since I was a kid. I love the really dark tone to it. It was really got some creepy moments in here with the Penguin and stuff, especially like at the end when he's bleeding out his nose and stuff and just looks so gross and everything. The Penguin is just really disgusting, but I absolutely love it. And Danny DeVito is just absolutely perfect in the role. I absolutely love him as the Penguin. I love his really weird dark take on the character. And I also love the Christmas setting too, because it just makes the movie all that better. It has like this dark feeling to it, but it's also set during Christmas time, which is pretty cool. You don't get movies like this very often and everything. I love that about it. And I think the cast are all once again really great in here. Michael Keaton is just as good as Batman in this one as he was the first one. Although, like with the first one, he is kind of sidelined, it seems like. It's like Batman is kind of like a side character in his own movie because the villains in this movie shine so much. But he's still really good, and as I mentioned, Danny DeVito as the Penguin is just really great casting. He does such a great job playing the character, and I just recently heard that he actually ate the raw fish in that scene, that when he was eating the raw fish, he was actually literally doing it, which just makes that scene even more disgusting to watch. But he's really good in here, and he's kind of gross looking and stuff, but he just does a really good job playing the character. Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman is excellent too. She's one of my favorite versions of Catwoman. I've always really liked her. She's really kind of sexy and stuff, but she's also threatening and kind of a badass too. So I really like her as Catwoman. I think she's really great. And does a really good job with that femme fatale feel to her. She's really good. And Christopher Walken as Max Schreck is pretty good too. I always forget that he's in this movie though, for some reason. Even though he has a pretty big part in the movie, I always forget he's in it. But I really like him in here too. I think he's a pretty decent side villain. But this movie doesn't overdo the arcs of the characters like some of the later Batman movies do, where you have too many villains at one time and too many characters to juggle. This one doesn't do that really as bad as some of the upcoming movies in the franchise that I'll be talking about in the next couple weeks, but I think they're all good. I still don't really care for Pat Hingle as Commissioner Gordon. He doesn't do anything for me. He doesn't have a lot of screen time. There isn't much about him that I really like a lot, to be honest with you. He's just fine. And Michael Gove, though, is still really good as Alfred. I still liked him quite a bit in here. He's not my favorite Alfred, but I still think he's pretty good in here. And this movie gets better every time I watch it, because I hadn't watched this one near as much as I had Batman '89 as a kid. I've only watched it a few times in recent years, but I really like the whole cast of this movie. I think they're all really good. The sets and stuff are once again really great. I don't know if they used the same ones from the first one or not. I don't think they did, but however they did it, the sets look really good though. Once again, and you get some new awesome set pieces where, like the underground world where the penguin lives and stuff, is pretty cool, and a lot of practical props and stuff. So this movie still holds up pretty well as far as that goes. I will say I'm not like with the first one, the Batman suit isn't one of my most favorite suits of his, because it feels like he's stuck too tightly in it, and he can't hardly move his neck and stuff. But I still like it. I didn't like at the end though when he revealed himself to Selena Kyle. I kind of like that him and Selena don't fully know who each other are throughout most of the movie. But I know that they do kind of know each other and other stuff too, but still. And I will say Danny Elfman's score in this one is even better than it was in the first one. I feel like he went like all out on the score for this one. It was just really, really great, and maybe it also kind of has that Christmassy feel to it a little bit. And this movie feels so much more like a Tim Burton movie than the last Batman movie did. And I like that. I know that'd be a negative for people who don't like Tim Burton, but someone who's been a big fan of him for as long as I can remember, I love his work on this movie and everything. And it's definitely my favorite out of the two that he directed. I really love this one. It's just really entertaining and has a great cast and everything. And there were a lot of people that could have played some of these other characters that were offered the role, and luckily they didn't do it. Like Madonna was one of the people that was asked to play Catwoman, and she didn't do it. I think Michelle Pfeiffer was perfect for this version, and I think Danny DeVito was perfect too. And there were a lot of good people not up for that role too, including Marlon Brando and John Goodman, who's one of my favorite actors. And as much as I love both of them, I think that Danny DeVito was the best choice for it. But yeah, this is a really entertaining movie. It's really dark and stuff. Like there's a lot of dark stuff in here, like him wanting to kill all the firstborn kids of the people of Gotham and stuff, because he was left for dead as a baby. Stuff is kind of dark and stuff, but I still really enjoy it. I know a lot of people got butthurt back in the early 90s about this movie being too dark. I'm curious to see what those people who got butthurt back then over this movie, how they would react to the newest Batman movie, because that one is just as dark, if not darker, than this one. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. It's a really great story, and it's a lot of fun. So I'd say I'd give Batman Returns an 8.5 out of 10. It's a really great sequel and one of my favorite Batman movies. As far as live action ones go, it might even be my favorite. I don't know 100%. I'll know for sure when I rewatch the Dark Knight trilogy and the rest of the movies, because like I said, I haven't watched the Batman franchise in a long time, so I don't know my definitive ranking yet, but this one's definitely going to be pretty high up there for sure. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of Batman Returns, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.